Okay.
Okay, it's rolling. Perfect. All right, so let's get this thing underway. So introduce yourself. Who is Shauna Film here?
Hi, my name is Shauna. I'm a photographer, creative, jack of all trades type of person. I'm from upstate New York. And yeah, I love to shoot on film. Film photography is a huge passion of mine. I've been working with it since 2019, and my love for it has just grown since. And yeah, that's hence the Shauna film.
Great, that's great. So let's go ahead and get into it. Where did your love for photography begin, and how did you find your way into shooting film specifically?
So I became interested with photography when I was younger. When I was around 12 years old, I actually became really sick with Lyme disease, and it impacted my ability to remember things. My memory is really shot. I honestly had the symptoms of somebody with early onset Alzheimer's at the age of like 12 and 13 and 14, which seems kind of crazy to believe considering I'm here talking to you today and I'm pretty good. Um, but my memory really suffered, and I became very interested in capturing the moments that I was living in as a tool to help me remember things. So that's how my photography really started. But as I became like more, like as I hold on, as I continued to like shoot pictures, I got really interested in like shooting nature photography, and then it kind of evolved into fashion photography, which is what I mainly do now.
I didn't know you had some kind of illness, but that didn't stop you from doing what you love doing. You know.
No, yeah, it actually helped me find what I love doing, what I'm doing. So it worked out in the end. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. What's one moment you've captured on film that truly surprised you, either emotionally or creatively?
Um I would say one of the things that surprised me, I guess. I mean, everything on film, it's a surprise. You don't really know if it's going to turn out. There's a lot of variables that come in with it. The film could get lost in the mail on the way to the lab. It could get developed wrong. It could get scanned wrong. It could get all of these things could happen. You could do something wrong. So that in and of itself is it's always a surprise when you get the photos back. But I would say um one of the biggest surprises that I had was when I was doing an underwater photo shoot on film. I honestly had no idea if the photos were going to come out at all. And I frankly thought that they wouldn't. But because it's underwater, you don't know really how the light works. I had it on, like the camera on automatic just because I didn't want to mess with it. So, and they actually did come out. So I guess that was probably the biggest surprise. Oh, somebody's lighting fireworks in my neighborhood. Ooh, I didn't think it was 4th of July. Let me try to shut my window. Hold on.
Sure, sure. Go ahead.
Let's shut this. Hopefully that'll help. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You're good.
It scared me. It sounded like a gunshot at first, and then I heard the second pop.
So, is that it? You wanna? I was gonna say, was that it? That's all it. Good.
Yeah, it only went off once, but it should be good now. I shut the window, so hopefully that'll lessen the sound. I'm not sure if you could hear it on your end.
No, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it at all.
Oh, okay, good.
Did you want to continue where you left off?
Uh, yeah. I think I kind of finished what I was. I don't remember if I finished what I was saying or not. But yeah, that was pretty much the biggest surprise was seeing the photos turn out, and they actually turned out pretty good. The underwater world.
I was actually looking at the back of that one. I was like, how she managed to get the underwater part? I know maybe you must have had a waterproof camera or something. You know, because I know. there are a lot of people who have those like waterproof protections. So
Yeah, it was like an underwater camera bag.
okay, okay, that's pretty nice. And I know you were kind of like this is something new that you never done before, but you were just trying
Mhm.
to test the waters, hence underwater kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. I was worried like that the water was gonna leak into the bag and ruin the camera. I had no way to really like light meter under the water. And I had no way to really focus because when I was looking through the viewfinder of the camera, I could see like nothing, pretty much nothing at all. So I just had to to aim and guess. So so it actually worked out better than I. There was a lot of really bad photos, but there were a few good ones that made it worth it.
As long as you persevered, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Can you describe what nostalgia means to you in the context of your photography work?
I feel like nostalgia for me is something that everybody can relate to. Um, it feels very like present for me. I kind of reminisce a lot on the past, good and bad. And I feel like that kind of shows itself through the way that I pursue my art, whether photography or otherwise. Um, I, yeah, I think using film in and of itself is kind of like an act of trying to preserve an element of the past, but also not preserving it, kind of evolving it into something even better because we always want to continue to evolve and grow as people and as society. So I feel like that's kind of what I try to do with my work. Take something that was once like a main tool and kind of evolve it in a way.
Yeah. I think some of those things, sometimes we need the past to teach us a little something, man. Maybe there was something I forgot and it just never, clicked in my head. I might need to look back on a few, memories or something.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like we need to learn from our past. If we don't teach it, the past is just doomed to repeat itself, right? That's like say, and it seems like that's kind of true, especially with what's going on with the world. So I think just like thinking about that and kind of utilizing that in an art way to kind of forward that message that we need to keep growing and evolving is in whatever way um, is like a positive thing. So
I agree. All
mhm.
right, we're going to the next section now, multimedia and fashion influence. You've always been drawn to fashion. How does that shape your editorial work today?
um yeah, when I was a kid, I my favorite TV show was That's So Raven, and I was just like absolutely in love with her. I wanted to be her when I grew up. The Cheetah Girls were hugely influential to me. They were really big into fashion. I feel like a lot of the Disney kids were super like fashion focused, and I feel like that kind of influenced me and my interest in it. And I at first I actually before I went to Flagler, I considered going to FIT, which is Fashion Institute of Technology. I went to a community college up here in New York, which had a transfer program, but I was like undecided about my major, so I ended up going to Flagler instead. Um, but I've always had an interest in fashion, and I wanted to be involved in it somehow. And I feel like photography has been a great outlet for me to involve myself in it without being involved in like this the styling or anything like that. I mean, for a lot of photo shoots, I am involved in the styling, but it's nice to be involved in it in a way that I feel like I can contribute a lot to, while also get a lot from.
That's very nice. It's nice that you mentioned some of the Disney shows too. Like I know there was a lot of shows I watched back then. There was a few because I know there was Proud Family, Kim Possible. They
Mhm.
had all kinds of fashion design with all the works in animation. Like mostly Kim Possible, all the outfits she's been wearing, they were fashionable, but ageist stuff underneath. But I see what you're talking about. You take most of the stuff you inspired from like the shows you watched back when you were a kid, and then you
Mhm.
get to this time when you were at Flagler College and try to apply that to some of the work projects that you want to do.
Yeah, and I feel like I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to be involved in the art world somehow. It wasn't until I joined Strike where I really realized, like, oh my God, like this is it. Like this is what I've been looking for this whole time. This is what I've been trying to find. Like I want to do this. And so, yeah.
Okay. Um, how do your creative skills, if you do like sewing or crochet, influence the way you frame or style a shoe?
I think it's really important to think intentionally when working with the styling with the shoe. Something like hand sewing or crocheting, it's very time intensive. It takes a lot of time and effort and energy, and there's something really special that can be said about that. And so I think like thinking intentionally and working with pieces that are maybe secondhand and not like fast fashion, like promoting that kind of mindset is something that we need to kind of work towards a bit, because I know everything is so like I want it now, like I need it cheap, like, which I mean I get, but also like there's something to be said about being able to create something yourself and make something out of nothing. So yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I have talked to a few people before. Like, if you don't mind me, some people like who do like a lot of cosplaying these days at conventions. They sometimes have to figure out, some of the stuff I can't get in stores, so I have to make all this stuff from scratch.
Mhm.
Like, thing is, some of these things they taking like half a year to make,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
crazy.
I've taken like 3 months to crochet just a sweater for myself. And that was me working on it every night for like 2 to 3 hours at a time, which is just mind boggling, like how long it takes to make this stuff. And it's really sad, like how undervalued it is, like a skill like that, like especially like crochet. It can't be replicated by a machine, it can only be hand done, and it's not valued.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because it's traditionally like a woman's like art form slash like whatever, but which is unfortunate. But it seems like that's kind of like a trend and a thing where women's works are not as valued, especially when it comes to like the arts. So I don't know, but it's just something to think about.
Yeah, and lately I had a discussion with another person actually today. I actually interviewed them earlier today, like I said before. I had two back to back with y'all. I was telling them, women are just as capable as men. Like, I don't care what you do, who you are, as long as I get to enjoy the experience, the artwork, whatever it is that you're doing. I want to see the work at the end. I don't care who did it. I just want to see it.
Right, and that's how it should be.
Right. That's how it should be.
Mhm.
So, what's your dream fashion collaboration? Brand, concept, or creative team?
I would love to shoot for. I mean, obviously, it's a dream, anybody's dream to be on the cover of Vogue, but even more so than Vogue, I would love to work on an issue of Interview magazine, just to have one of my like photos in it. That magazine is super cool. It was started by Andy Warhol, and all of the images in it and the content. It's literally just interviews, 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 and a lot of the interviews were done by like celebrities of other celebrities, which I think is pretty fun. So yeah, I like the way that they style things. Also, their magazines are printed like very different. They're not like the standard like 8.5 by 11. They're like super long and
Yeah.
skinny, and like newspaper print. So it's pretty. pretty interesting to hold and to have. It's very unique. So like something like that, I think would be really fun to work on. Um, and yeah,
Okay, so you got a few plans, and you got a few dreams you want to try out. I don't know. I know it's a work in progress, and I'm sure you'll find a way to make it work.
yeah. Well, fingers crossed.
The main thing is that you don't give up on what you're doing. His, dream big or don't dream at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to dream. Feels like it's expensive to dream these days, but I mean, it's a passion that keeps me driving forward, you know?
Yeah, and listen, other thing too is some direction is better than no direction.
Yeah, very true. At least I'm going, my path might not be like this, but it definitely is more like this, you know? Ups and downs.
True, true.
And that's just how life is.
Hmm. What do you think film photography brings to fashion editorials that digital can't?
I mean, I think they're both good, but there's something about film that it just gives a really interesting look that kind of sets it apart from digital. It gives a really, I don't want to sound, I don't know, it gives it like a certain vibe that digital can't, even if you edit it in a certain way, it has a very distinct look. And it kind of, I don't know, there's just something really special about it. I think I don't know, somebody said something online and said like people who like to use film are actually like are actually like gamblers or like have a gambling addiction basically because you never know how it's going to turn out and it's like you get a rush when it does turn out. And I think about that a lot because I think they're kind of right. Because like when you do get the photos back, it's like oh my god, I can actually breathe, I can finally breathe. But then when they don't come back, it's like it's been like so crushing before. I had a instance where I felt like I finally had my big break and like half of the photos did not come back at all and the ones that did came back so messed up. Thankfully I was able to save a couple of them. This was on my shoot with Gail right after I graduated Flagler. I flew up to New York City a week later and then did that photo shoot of Gail the singer with Gracie. And yeah, half of the photos were gone. And as soon as the photos came in, I was with Gracie when they did. She was recording me to get my reaction for like a video we were making. I was like, cut the cameras, because I started crying. I was like sobbing. And she was just like sitting there like, it's gonna be okay, we can fix it, see? And she's like trying to edit it to make it look not so bad. And I was like crying. I'm like, no, this is supposed to be my big break. Yeah.
I
So
I can tell from the excitement from your voice. That's a really great time. And from what I've heard from you so far, I think it just depends on the person and the day. Like, what are we shooting with? Are we using the film or digital? But you said both can be useful. But it just depends on the situation.
definitely true. Yes. Yes.
All right. Onward to the next one. When you begin a new project, where does the idea usually start? Mood, location, model, or emotion?
Um I would say usually if I have an idea, it's usually spurred by something. Like let's just say, for instance, this recent campaign I did with Coco Clem for the claw clip earrings. She had posted a picture of all of them together, and to me, they looked like sprinkles when they were all together. And then I was like, light bulb idea. Like, let's do a summer photo shoot to promote the earrings in a fun summer way. Let's use them as sprinkles. And then, there's another photo shoot I'm working with her on. I'm doing the
Okay.
photos. I should be taking the photos next week, where she's selling these like scissor earrings, and as soon as I saw them, it made me think of like the giant prop scissors that people use
Oh
for like
yeah, yeah,
ribbon
yeah.
cutting. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, what if I created like a giant version of the earrings? And then I was like, oh my God, this would be so cool if I could like like make an like a gardening editorial like with a gardener, and they have the giant scissor. So that's what I'm doing. Next week. I already made the scissors. I'm just waiting to have some time off to shoot it. But so I'm gonna be doing that then.
Man,
But yeah, usually it's something that sparks like an idea in my head, and then the ball just keeps rolling from there. Or I'm looking on Pinterest, and then something strikes my fancy, and then it creates like a chain, and just the ideas just keep coming.
I can tell. I mean, the way you're saying, like I know one thing that people don't do. Like most people just don't research on the types of stuff that needs to be. Like what, like the theme. What's the theme? What's the story we're telling? What are the tools we need to make this thing work? And it's nice, and from hearing you, it looks like you guys, like you did your research on a particular project, like because you did say that you had another shoot next week, which I can tell. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that one. Can't wait to see what you do. So,
Thank you.
so,
I'm really excited. It's gonna be cool.
so yeah. Well, at least you're putting your creative ideas to the test. At least I know because what most creators don't do, they don't do their research, which is probably like the most fatal flaw in a fashion design's work. Not doing research.
Yeah, like I don't want to just take photos just to take photos. I don't want to just like recycle the same thing over and over again. I want to do something different every single time, and I
Yeah.
have no problem working with the same models, but I don't want it to be the same shoot over and over again. I want it to bring something new to the table each time that I'm doing something. So, yeah.
Okay. So next, do you think your work as storytelling, and if so, what kinds of stories are you most drawn to?
I think it depends. I think some of my more creative stuff has some stories behind it for sure. Like a lot of the stuff that I did with Strike, all of them pretty much have a background and idea behind. But I think in terms of more of my like, I guess yeah, because even in like the more commercial like aspect for like that earring brand, I still like created this whole narrative and story behind the images. So I think everything I do kind of like I kind of create these like worlds. Each photo shoot it's like its own like world or universe, you know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
like this is what's going on. Whether intentional or not, I think I just keep doing it, and it's working out. So I'm not mad at how the photos are turning out.
Yeah, and that's the same thing I discussed with Allie 2 days ago. I just asked, if you think, being in front of the camera is, it's more than just being in front. Like it's a form of storytelling. That's what because I know some of this work you guys did when y'all were in the Strike magazine. Y'all had certain themes, but I know behind those themes y'all had a few stories to tell.
Yeah, definitely. I think some of them were more story focused than others for sure, but yeah. So I think that's kind of inspired my works like since then too.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, how do you know when a shoe or image is done when you're working with film, which doesn't give instant results?
I think it's hard to say because like you get to a place where you edit a photo and you think, okay, this looks good enough. Like this looks good. But if I go back 6 months from now and if I were to re-edit the photo, I can tell you right now I edited different. And like I just I don't know why. It's just like I feel like tastes evolve and things change and they're so like a project just never really done. Like I've done photo shoots for Strike, which I then submitted to other magazines and had on the cover of other magazines, and then had an art shows and then repurposed and reused and recycled just to get out there as much as I can. So I feel like when I hit post, it's not like the end of it. It's still evolving. So yeah.
Yeah. There's always room for improvement. Listen, every time when I post every time I be posting one of my video game walkthroughs on Instagram for y'all to see, sometimes I don't get the instant, results that I want, but I just keep doing it anyway, just to get just because of the fun of it. Because I'm not trying to get like likes or many views or the clout chasing. The clout chase is real, and I'm just doing it for the love of it.
Yeah, and that's what matters the most. Because if you do it for the wrong reasons, you're gonna lose interest, and it's gonna become measurable. And that's where you're gonna start making content that doesn't really align with what you want and what your vision is. So I think not caring about the followers and just creating what's authentic to you is what is really most important as an artist. Because if you're pandering to what other people think and want, it's not truly your vision, and that's not how you're going to make a difference or create anything meaningful.
Right. It's about, the passion and hard work that we leave behind once we're done. It's not about, being famous or whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and some of the most famous artists now were never famous in their lifetime when they were alive. So fame isn't everything. Being happy and content with what you make is. So.
Hey, if you saw Lizzo, I think you know Lizzo. If you saw Lizzo's post, she was like, "Don't try to be famous. You'll never leave. If you want to keep doing art, do it without fame."
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of true. There's something to be said about that. I mean, poor Lizzo's had like her fair share of like shit that she's been dealt, with fame, and nobody has everybody has something to say, and it's normally not nice. So I think that's like the double-edged sword that comes with fame and power.
What themes or visual elements do you find yourself returning to again and again?
I would say work with nature. I love to do shoots out in nature. Working in the studio is fun and all, but I had it's kind of boring and repetitive. I would rather go to a million different locations and shoot outside and deal with all the changing weather than have a stable studio environment. So, yeah.
Okay, so I think basically, you wanted to, doing all this new stuff is good, but I want to go back to the old stuff that I like, something that makes my life fulfilling to do. I don't know nature. A lot of people do a lot of nature shoots. I know Sydney Fisher. She's been to a lot of mountains and everything, so she's been liking nature a lot. So I think the reason why, because she finds herself at tranquility. She finds herself at tranquility being in those places, and I think that's how an artist should feel like, to get away from all the noise.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to involve yourself in nature, and it's really easy to be inspired by it. And so being surrounded by it as much as you can is super important for me in my process. And I feel like I definitely did a little bit better and felt more creative when I was down in Florida, because unfortunately up here is like you're stuck inside for half of the year because it's so cold. So it doesn't really help the creative juices flow as much.
Yeah. Sometimes, we find ourselves in a place and it feels like we need to go out somewhere else and try to reconnect to why we do all this.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Next we got. Okay. What's been the biggest shift in your creative process since graduating with your BFA?
I would say the biggest shift is moving back up here to New York. I never wanted to be back up here, especially where I'm from. But I am here now, and I'm kind of stuck because of student loans and circumstances. So I'm just kind of doing the best with the cards that I've been dealt. I think I'm finally accepting the fact that I'm stuck here. So I'm not just like wallowing in self pity anymore. Now I'm like actually trying to put myself out there and put my magazine. Like I created the magazine and I'm putting my magazine out here and getting involved with the art community locally and putting and like just kind of like getting out of like this sort of like depression that I've kind of been in terms of my identity and who I am and who I want to be. So I would say that has been probably the toughest part is the transition from being in Florida to here. And I really do miss it down there, but at least if I'm here, I'm close to New York City. Well, relatively, I'm like 2.5 hour train ride. Um, so there's opportunities for me there that there just aren't as easily accessible for me in Florida. So yeah.
Yeah. I know, sometimes depression can be useful if you use it the right way. You got out of
Mhm.
it. You focus on what really matters. Just making sure I be successful in life. And who knows, if you put in a lot of hard work, you'll be able to like go somewhere different instead of staying in the same place you've been for the last 2 to 3 years. And I
Yeah.
know it's not easy at the beginning, but at least when
Mhm.
you start, at least you're moving, and at least you're making some progress.
Yeah, I'm definitely at the point now where I'm making progress, but it's been slow going at first. Had a lot of like family stuff going on, so now I finally feel like I'm healing from that and ready to like continue my art journey, I guess.
And you still got a whole friend group and support system.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that matters too.
Hmm.
Um,
Definitely.
Living in New York is a dream for many artists. How has that environment influenced your work or will them?
Um, I mean, going at like as I said before, like I'm not in the city as much as I want to be. It's my goal to move down there my next year, but just being down there and being surrounded by it, and like it's so easy to get connected with other people and get involved in the world if you just push yourself out there. There's other people who want to connect with you and work with you, and I found that online just by finding these social networks, and I can only imagine like the type of connections I'd make if I lived down there full time. I've gone down there quite a few times, and usually when I go down, I'll stay over at Gracie's. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really special to be surrounded by like a lot of people with like minds as to you and who have like similar goals and passions as yours. And it's so much easier to find people like you down there than it is in smaller towns. So
It's good. And I know you and Grace are close. I know she's always there to comfort you if you ever feel sad or something, But it's good that she's there to like help you guide you through like those dark days when you feel like, why am I doing all this? What's the point? What's the point of all this? Like, is all this meaningless, or do I just stop? Like, I mean, I don't want you to stop. I mean, but it's
yeah,
just those thoughts that just it's just sometimes you get yourself as at a crossroads in life and just think to myself, what's the point of all this?
yeah, it can get like that, especially after graduating and trying to figure out who you are in this world. Um, but just like sticking true to who you are and what you want and what you believe in is really important. And it's nice to have a friend like her, as much even though I don't see her as much as I want to or talk to her as much as I would like, because we're both really busy. But that girl is very busy, especially. Um, but it's nice to have somebody like that, especially somebody that I've known for so long, and kind of like grown through both stages of life with. So yeah.
It's nice to hear, you know. Sorry, I was just, oh my God, I was almost about to cry here. I'm sorry. I was getting emotional for a second.
Oh, well, that's sweet. Yeah,
I'm
I
trying.
it's easy to get emotional around here. I mean, I am a Cancer after all.
Whew. All right, shoot. I was this close. I didn't want to let a tear drop.
Aw.
Sorry. It's just sometimes when I have these conversations, they are meaningful stuff, but sometimes I gotta forget we're still human.
Yeah, I know. I think that's the important thing to remember, especially nowadays with everything going on and in the world globally, is like to see each other as human beings. Because I feel like hatred is kind of remove that aspect to where some people don't view human beings as human beings, and like trying to advocate for that through your art is something that's really important, something that I want to get more into, as I continue to create.
I got you. Uh, so, where do you see your work evolving in the next few years? Not just professionally, but personally.
I would like to be able to create more personal projects as well as commercial projects as well. I really like doing the I don't know if you remember, but back at the student center I had my like first exhibition. Yeah, you
Yeah,
were there. You
yeah.
were
I
there.
was there. I was there. I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was just like such a fun time. It was really cool to like see my art and my photos in person like that. And so I really want to like get more involved in like the art gallery scene and see if I can like apply myself for more resident like for some residencies or um exhibitions like that, because I haven't really done an exhibition in person since last year, but I will be doing one. I'll be back in Florida a couple weeks from now. There's It's gonna be like a one night only like film release and exhibition in St. Augustine. A friend of mine, Rachel, is gonna be doing it, and I'm gonna have a couple pictures up. So
Okay.
I'm excited for that.
I'll keep an eye on the feeds.
Yeah.
So, all right. So last section. So, but we're having some good conversations. Um, how do we're talking about life in general. How do you stay creatively energized when you're in a slump or just overwhelmed?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to feel like you have no creative energy when you're in a slump and overwhelmed, but I think trying to manage that feeling of overwhelm to and like try to stay as organized as I can with that. I make a bunch of lists and write everything down that I need to do so then I can take care of that, put that to the side, and then um, continue to let the creative juices flow, I guess. It's like the second time I've said that.
It's fine. Say what's on your mind.
But yeah, just trying to like stay as level headed and not get so in my head as I love to do. That kind of helps. And yeah, getting outside of yourself and not being so stuck in here is helps.
You know, I be telling people, take care of yourself before you take care of others. Go recharge your batteries before you keep doing stuff. Don't work too hard.
Yeah, that's true.
So, um, what keeps you grounded outside of art or any routines, people, or places that reset your spirit?
That'll set my spirit up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Resets your spirit.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the support that I have from my family, and I do have a boyfriend now, and he is like one of the most supportive people I've ever met in
Wow.
terms of my art. Yeah, he's just so kind and uplifting, and I mean, he comes from a very artistic family, which helps. And he just is so nice. So yeah, I feel very lucky. I have a very good support system who have always encouraged me to follow my dreams and passions, whatever they may be. Especially my grandmother. She was huge um, support for me. So yeah, my family and everything.
It's nice to have those support system. I have a huge support system. I mean, not just you guys. I have a huge fan myself. They're liking the stuff I'm doing. doing this, talking to people, do podcasts and stuff, photography, whatever it is I'm doing, as long as I just be happy with it. Myself, I might be done with another certificate program, my cybersecurity program, because I'm about to do cybersecurity.
Oh, well,
So,
congratulations. My
so
brother's actually studying that right now.
yeah. Pretty much after I'm done, I'll pretty much work anywhere across the globe. So,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
that's like really in demand job right now. I know a couple people that do that. But
so,
yeah, my brother's in going to U Albany here for that.
so I'm just trying to figure out, where do I go after this? I haven't talked to my professor in a while, but I am going to be asking him a lot of questions on Wednesday because we got a lot of catching up to do since I've been away.
Yeah, what school are you doing with that?
So it's Savannah Tech. It's here in my hometown, Savannah. So
Yeah,
it's still pretty good school.
yeah, Savannah's gorgeous. I loved it the day that I went.
It's great. Um,
hmm
what's one belief or value that guides how you move through the art world?
Um, I know this sounds kind of basic, but when I was a kid, I went to this school called Scano, and they had morning meetings every single day, and they always ended the morning meeting by asking you what's the golden rule, and you'd respond. Like everybody would respond, treat people the way you'd want to be treated.
Right.
And I feel like that kind of guides me in like my work life. I work as a lead receptionist at a doctor's office, so um, it's kind of not fun, but I interact with people a lot, and a lot of the same people because it's a eye doctor's office, and a lot of these people are going blind, which is really sad. But just treating people with kindness because you never know where they're coming from. A lot of these people like they don't have much. They're older, so they don't like socialize with anybody outside of their house. Or you never know. Like you could be the only person that somebody else talks to today, and you want to make their day a good one. So I just, yeah, everything I do, including my art, um, I just like try to lead with kindness first, and then professionalism second. I feel like I'm pretty professional in terms of my photography and stuff, and the way that I carry myself in emails and with communications with people. So I'm a little surprised I haven't found a professional job in it yet, but something's out there for me, and I'll be ready when it comes.
Yeah, always treat people with respect. It doesn't matter what background, what else, wherever you came from.
hmm
Just treat others the way you want to be treated, and you'll be fine. You know,
Yeah.
it's all about the hospitality.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like working at where I did in Florida and at the distillery in a super touristy place kind of helped a lot with that,
Okay.
the sense of hospitality.
Yeah. Two more questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up. If someone only saw one image from your portfolio, which would you want it to be, and what would you want them to feel? What kind of,
Um, I think, I mean, I hate to say it, but everybody tells me that like some of the best photos I ever took were the Calypso series for Strike. And I mean, I kind of agree. They're just like breathtaking. And there's this one photo of her, like kind of like coming out of the water, looking like a mermaid almost.
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah.
got she's got this like intense look in her face, and I would want people to look at that and be like curious, be like, what's going on? Like, what is this? Why does she look like that? What's this background? Like where is she? What's the setting? Who is she? Like, I want people to look at my art and then have questions and have questions that formulate how they feel about it, whether positive or negative. I don't care as long as it makes them feel something. I think that's exactly what every artist wants to do, is to make somebody feel something. So,
Yeah, true. Every artist wants to make sure, no matter everybody wants to. Every artist, whether it's illustration, cosplay, writing, tattoo artists, they want them to make sure they feel special and they feel loved, no matter what happens. Because
hmm
there's been lately what's been going on in the world these days. Not everybody's like feeling love towards each other. And I think the way that we're doing this is by doing all these storytellings, the art, the
Hmm.
photography stuff. It's nice that we have people who are willing to take the time to do stuff. Filmmakers too.
Hmm.
So, because I don't know if you saw the Superman movie, because it was a very saying it was mostly inspired by the whole thing that was going on in Palestine and Gaza.
Yeah, I did just see that, and I was like, it literally seems like a play-by-play of literally that exact conflict. And I didn't research anything, but I was like, I feel like I'm watching reality on play on the screen. But Superman was really good. I really liked it a lot, so
Yeah.
shockingly.
Yeah, James Gunn thought of everything for this new universe he's trying to build. He took the time and did his homework.
Yeah, it was really good. I really liked it. I thought it was funny. The super dog I thought was
Yeah,
hilarious.
Crypto the Super Dog.
Yeah. I yeah, I thought it was good. And I really like the actor that plays Superman. He was in one of my favorite shows. It was like a limited series called it had something to do with like something in Hollywood. Or maybe it was just Hollywood. It was on Netflix. And he
Hmm.
played like a struggling actor who like would do anything to become famous. And in like the early 1900s in old Hollywood. It was really, really good.
Wow. Okay.
Uh,
That's
but
great.
yeah, that's where I first saw him. But anyways, I'm getting off track. Yeah,
No, it's a good thing we talk about history. That's why I call this just the conversation. We have all these, it's no filters, just conversations. So, lastly, and this is the last question. Do you have any advice you want to give to someone doing photography or any other kind of creative career or just anything in general? Any advice you would want to tell them?
yeah, I would just say don't be afraid to go after what you want. I feel like for a lot of my life, the fear of judgment or the fear of not being good enough paralyzed me from actually pursuing my interest. And I would just say find a way to either accept that and embrace that fear and run towards it, or to push it aside, so you can actually pursue what you actually desire, because you're never going to get what you want and you're always going to be unhappy if you let fear rule your life. And I feel like for a lot of time, anxiety and fear did that for me. So pushing that out of the way and just embracing confidence within yourself. And if you don't feel confident, pretend that you're somebody who is confident. That's what my favorite thing is to do is whenever I'm nervous, I literally pretend like I'm somebody else who I admire, who is like everything that I want to be. Like, um, I know I keep bringing up Gracie, but she's one of the most confident people I've ever met, and she's so talented. She's interested in like all the same things I am, and she like, I mean, at least she projects like she has no fear, and she just goes after what she wants. And that's who I pretend that I am whenever I'm in any professional photography scenario, or like in even in life. Like, so just finding something to keep you going and push you through, but ultimately just don't let fear stop you from pursuing what you really want to do.
It's true. And, fear is a natural thing, but charging into something new despite the fear is what makes someone a better person.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of fear is healthy, but too much kind of stops you in your tracks and paralyzes you, and don't let it do that.
no, never let
Mhm.
that happen. Well, anyway, it was nice to tell you guys. This is Shauna Film. Make sure you go check out all of the previous work she's done. She's done amazing work. And, yeah, make sure you stay tuned for the photo shoot that she's doing next week.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
all right. Thanks.
All right, thanks.